Hola chicos, en este video vamos a continuar nuestra conversación de las familias y las comunidades. Vamos a hablar de más vocabulario, específicamente vamos a aprender how do we express older, younger, oldest, youngest, etc., the middle child. So, este es vocabulario más específico que hicimos en clase. It's going to be a lot more specific than we did in class. Quick review, esta familia que tenemos aquí en la foto viene del programa que se llama The Middle, y es un programa popular. Yo no miro este programa, pero muchas personas lo miran. It's a good photo to kind of help us review this family stuff. So una palabra muy importante, right? La palabra I, there is or there are. So en este caso, that's not an accent, that's part of my A. Hay, ¿cuántos? Hay 5 personas, ¿verdad? En la familia. So, podemos describir la familia con la palabra I. Luego, si seguimos, podemos decir que hay 3 hijos, ¿verdad? There's 3 kids in the family. Hay 3 hijos. Y también hay 2 padres, right? Notice a couple things. First of all, padres, which means parents, it's like the plural of father, which is padre. When you say padres in Spanish, it doesn't mean fathers, it means parents. There's another word, parientes, which it does not mean parents at all, it actually means relatives. It's a false cognate. So be careful with that. Hijos, ¿verdad? Notice that we have, en esta foto tenemos una chica y 2 chicos. But we always go with the masculine form when it's plural. So hijos means kids, sons and daughters. Okay? So ¿qué tenemos aquí en la foto? Aquí tenemos una hija, que quiere decir a daughter, and I actually don't know her name, pero esta es una hija de la familia. Aquí tenemos un hijo, ¿verdad? Que quiere decir a son. Aquí tenemos también un hijo o otro hijo. Sorry, that O shouldn't be in there. Un hijo. Y luego tenemos el padre, que está aquí, ¿no? El padre. Y aquí tenemos la madre. Now, why did I put for padre, for example, el padre, and then over here with un hijo? The difference is this means the father, and here this means a child. So those are used just like in English. When you want to say the, you use el or la, and then when you want to say a, you use un or una. So esto es importante aquí. So this is really a review of what we did in class the other day, using I a lot, talking about members of the family. Now, to make it more specific, aquí tenemos una foto de la familia moderna, ¿verdad? Que quiere decir modern family. By the way, you can watch this show, and I think it's called La Familia Moderna in Spanish. You can watch this show in Spanish. It's shown in many Spanish-speaking countries, dubbed over, and they have different actors that play the parts of different people. So, with this picture, let's get a little bit more specific. Obviamente, esta es una familia extendida, ¿no? Tenemos otras personas aquí. Por ejemplo, Jay es un abuelo, ¿no? Este hombre aquí es un abuelo. Este hombre aquí, que se llama Mitchell, es un tío. Manny y Luke son primos. So we have more of that extended vocab. But let's try to talk about, if we want to say who's older or who's younger in a certain family. So vamos a hablar de una parte, solo una parte de esta familia. Let's sort of specify one part of the family. And let's talk about la familia de Phil, la familia inmediata de Phil. Y en esta familia, nosotros vamos a tener Phil y Claire son los padres, so Phil y Claire son los padres. Haley, Luke y Alex son los hijos. And let's be specific about the children. Let's talk about them. So, tenemos Haley. Luego tenemos Alex. Y luego tenemos Luke. So, usando el vocabulario, ¿no? Haley es la hija, ¿verdad? Alex es también la hija. And here we've said the child, right? Luke, or the daughter, es el hijo. Now we want to describe them. We want to be more specific. We want to talk about their ages. So Haley is the oldest, right? I don't know how old she is, but I know she's the oldest. So how do we express that? We have la hija, Haley es la hija, and the word we use for oldest is this word, mayor, okay? Haley es la hija mayor. Aquí, con Luke, let's go down to him. Luke es el hijo menor, and that means he is the youngest son. And then Alex es la hija, if you're in a family of 3, de media, ¿verdad? Que quiere decir the middle child. Notice that we have la hija de media here. It's feminine instead of medio. If she were a boy, it would be de medio. ¿Verdad? So we've expressed here, Haley is the oldest daughter. Luke is the youngest son. What if we just wanted to keep it simple and say Haley is the oldest? Well, it's actually really easy to do. We would just say, and I'll do this one in blue, we would just say, Haley es la mayor. Y eso quiere decir that she is the oldest. Simple. And then Luke, we go down to him. We want to say Luke is the youngest. Luke es el menor. That he is the youngest. And then we want to talk about Alex. Alex es el medio. So aquí tenemos la información que necesitamos. You need to go back and look at that. Go back and watch it again. I'm going to continue with a little bit more of this stuff. Let's say we want to now compare people. Okay, so let's sort of erase all this stuff. And let's say we want to, and again, you guys can always rewind and go back and look at what we just saw. Let's say we want to compare Jay y Lily. Lily es una bebé, ¿verdad? Ella es muy joven. So, en este caso, Jay es el abuelo, Lily es un bebé. Lily es, creo que es la sobrina. Is she her niece? I'm really not sure. Anyway, Jay y Lily. Obviamente, Jay es viejo y Lily es muy joven. So we want to say Jay is older than Lily. We would say Jay es mayor, again using the word that we saw before, and then we use que, Lily. Okay, so we use that que expression. So we want to express this, it's always mayor que, comparing two people. Let's say we want to compare, let's go to Manny, and we want to compare Manny with Phil. And we say Manny es menor que Phil. So tenemos otra vez this construction, menor que. The difference here is that we use menor for younger. But this que, this word, this little word here is an important word. It means what, but in this case it also means that. And it's almost always used for your that, like I think that he is smart, right? Mayor que, menor que. Now, let's get a little bit more tricky with this stuff. I'm going to erase, but again, you can always go back. What if we want to talk about two different people? Let's erase this, get kind of a clean slate over here. We want to talk about more than one person. Compare, let's say, groups of people. So let's say we want to talk about, Cam y Mitchell, que son esposos, and then we want to compare them to, let's say, Haley y Luke. Now, Cam y Mitchell son padres, no? Haley y Luke son hijos. So, obviamente, fathers or parents are going to be old, in this case fathers, are going to be older than sons and daughters. So we want to say here, we want to say Cam and Mitchell are older than Haley and Luke. So now we go about this almost the same way, but we have to change this. We say Cam y Mitchell because there's more than one person, son, and we're going to use mayores now. The plural version of mayor, que, and this doesn't change, we still use our que, Haley y Luke. So what we've done is we've changed this mayor to mayores. We've made it plural. The same thing goes with the, if you want to talk about younger. So let's just do a quick example. Let's flip this around. We want to say Haley and Luke. I'm just going to use H and L. Haley y Luke son menores. Menores. Sorry, that's supposed to be the R. Menores que Cam y Mitchell. So we use the plural form of this to compare more than one person. So menores, mayores. So let's review really quickly on one more slide here. I don't want to use that picture. Let's review quickly. So what are our ways to say older than and younger than? So if we want to say older, our expression is simply mayor or mayores, if it's plural, que. We want to say younger, our expression is menor or menores que. we want to say the oldest. We're going to have el or la, depending if it's a guy or a girl, mayor. We want to have the youngest. Oops. Sorry, guys, the smartboard's not synchronized. That's supposed to say the youngest. The youngest, el o la menor. Now, if the oldest and the youngest happen to be more than one person, like the oldest kids, you would just simply say los mayores. Or for all girls, las mayores. Or the youngest kids, los menores. So it works really the same way. Okay, so these are comparisons when you start to talk about your family. This screencast is relatively long. I apologize. So be ready to talk about this and to use this in action for our next class. We'll be doing either a writing or speaking activity with it, you can bet. Muchas gracias por su atención. Nos vemos en clase. Hasta luego.